Hello YouTube, my name is Nero. Today we have some more Call of Duty World War II. Welcome back to the beta, ladies and gentlemen. The Call of Duty World War II PC Open Beta went live one day early, as anticipated. The Call of Duty betas always go live at least one day early, and today was no different. So we actually got to get our hands on the PC version of Call of Duty World War II. Gotta say, was not running very well to begin with. Now, I'm seeing a lot of people saying the exact same thing. The recommended settings for the game that they kind of give you by default weren't very good. For me personally, it was very stuttery, very laggy. You guys are watching gameplay of it right here. It doesn't look that bad when you're actually watching it, but when you're playing it, you guys know what it's like. If your console, for example, starts to stutter a little bit, you can feel that drop in frames. The same thing happens on PC, though I would actually argue it's worse on PC because depending on your rig, you could have a frame rate going all the way up to, 144, sometimes even higher than that, right? So it's definitely noticeable when the frame rate drops and tanks a lot, and it was very unpleasant for me when I first started playing the beta, so much so that I almost just gave up on it. I was almost like, you know what, I'm tired of this, I'm not even gonna play it anymore. Another bad Call of Duty port, whoop-de-doo, same thing as every single year, but I decided to keep on trying. I messed around with a lot of my settings. I capped my frame rate at 60, which of course is not very optimal. I dropped my overall quality from ultra down to high, and I messed around with various other settings, turning off anti-aliasing and so on and so forth, until eventually I found a combination that made the game actually run pretty well on my computer. And once I was actually able to play the game as it was intended, 60 frames per second or better, and of course with nice graphics, it was actually pretty fun to play. It's the same as what I played on console, except at a higher field of view, and it's beautiful. Oh my goodness, it's beautiful, man. The graphics on PC, even if you're not like at the highest settings, looks freaking fantastic. The field of view obviously is great. I wish we had proper FOV sliders on console, but FOV sliders are known to actually cause a bit of instability. Apparently, I didn't play Battlefield 1 on the console, but I do know Battlefield 1 had FOV sliders on console, and apparently the higher your FOV, the worse it actually ran. It would actually stutter quite a bit, so that's the reason why we don't see these on console. But if you can have a PC that can actually handle an FOV slider, it looks freaking fantastic. People are asking me on Twitter, like, why does your game look so fast on PC? And it's just simply because the higher field of view. The game itself feels good if you can actually get it to run, but is it actually that good? If I had to mess around with all of those settings just to find a winning combination, is the PC port really that good? I don't know. It's definitely pretty hard for them to pull this off, considering, every single PC is different, and they have to make a game that works on pretty much everybody's machine. So I guess that's the point of this beta, is to get a lot of feedback from a lot of different people running different processors, different graphics cards, different setups to see how they can possibly make the game a little bit better before launch. But keep in mind, guys, COD World War II comes out in, 36 days? There's not a whole lot they can actually change about the game, but there are some things, so be sure to give them your feedback during this weekend of the beta. Let's move things over here to Aachen. This is definitely something I think people are very interested to hear about. So they actually changed the layout of Aachen a little bit based off of community feedback from the console beta. So I'm going to try and show you instances of that, but just pay attention to the gameplay here. You're going to notice that if you're going towards the middle of the map, the B flag, that area where you fight for the B flag and the hard point and so on, that area is a lot less open now. The walls are in different locations. They pulled a tank into one of the buildings. One of the windows has been completely removed. They changed up the layout of the map in a very good way, in my opinion. Though keep in mind, I'm somebody who thought that Aachen was fine in the original iteration when we played, on the console beta. I personally liked it. It was my favorite map in the beta, and I was kind of disappointed to see so many people hating it, because for me personally, I loved it. But the changes that Sledgehammer Games have made to the map so far seem to be pretty good. They make it so the map is not as open, but it's still big, and it's also not an ant farm, right? That's a very difficult balance to strike, because we've seen countless times in the years past where they have a big map idea, but they're worried that the lines of sight are going to be too long for the community, so they divide it up and have all these alleyways and entrances everywhere, till eventually the map kind of feels like an ant farm, sort of similar to what we see with Point to Hawk here in the beta. They didn't do that with this map. It's just a bit more close quarters. It's not as open as it was previously, and personally, I like the changes. I like the original version, but I also like this version as well, so I think that's actually a nice middle ground, right? It's basically the same idea for a map, but it's a bit more close quarters, not as open, and I think more people are going to like the map as a result. Are people going to still hate it? Sure, some people are definitely going to hate this map, but I think some of the people that hated it during the initial iteration of the beta are going to start liking it more as a result of these changes. So ladies and gentlemen, that's pretty much all I have for you guys here in this video. I want to thank you guys all so much for tuning in. Thank you for stopping by and checking out the video here. Will you actually be playing the beta this weekend? Chances are the vast majority of you guys will not be. I was so surprised. I ran a poll on Twitter the other night and asked you guys if you would be playing the beta this weekend, and about 80% of you said no for one reason or another, whether it's you're busy this weekend, or maybe you don't have a gaming PC, or you're not interested in the game on PC, or what have you. 80% of you said you will not be playing playing this weekend, which is insane to me. I mean, COD on PC has always been kind of dead, let's be honest here. Very small community over there, but for crying out loud, 80% not even trying the open beta. That is insane, guys. If you have a PC that can potentially run the game, I would recommend trying it out. Or if you're not interested, you're not missing out on anything. Let's be honest, it's the same beta we had previously. The only big difference is they made a couple of layout changes to Aachen. The map plays a little bit differently, and if that's interesting to you, download the beta, try it out, see how it works on your PC, because it is free, and it's going to be available throughout the entirety of the weekend. Once again, guys, I hope you enjoyed the video. Let me know your thoughts down there in the comment section below, and I hope you guys all have a wonderful day.